everyone. Welcome to another Frenemies. Hi, May.
Hi, Uri. Once again, we're going to talk about the hottest topics of Israel. And let's start. How was your week, Uri?
So my week was about the Ten Commandments, and specifically about the commandment, "Thou shalt not steal." And this week, the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, passed a law that basically says, "Thou shalt steal." It passed a law that says that private Palestinian land owned by private Palestinian owners will no longer be theirs, but will be given to the Israeli settlers in the West Bank. We shall talk about it more later on with Hagit Ofran from Peace Now.
So I know that the hottest topics of the week in Israel usually involves politics or homeland security, but the thing that angered me the most this week was really the horrible testimony published about the abuse and torment of our pensioners in retirement homes. These elderly people, our parents, grandparents, our founding mothers and fathers, our veterans, are the reason we are alive, why we are here, and why we have a Jewish state. So how could it be that our society just looks the other way and ignores the fact that our beloved elders are suffering in the years that they're supposed to be surrounded by love and care? For me, a nation, society that tolerates abuse of pensioners without complete outrage, investigation, and toughest of punishment must question her right to call itself a nation. Okay, so Trump is making his promise to his American people. Is actually, for me, I have to say, I adore the man. I think he doesn't afraid of anyone. He does not afraid of anyone. He say what he thinks. He makes his promise no matter how tough it is. And you know, seeing what he's doing with his high Supreme Court and the judges that go against him is almost compatible to what's going on here in Israel. Because look at my fight, for instance, the fight that I've been fighting in the name of the residents of South Tel Aviv, in the residents of the settlements. It all comes down to the high Supreme Court that eventually doesn't allow the members of the Knesset to do what the people are asking of them. So I'm looking at Donald Trump, president-elect, and I have to tell you, Uli,
he's already the president. He's not already.
Yeah, but you know,
get used to it.
It's fun for me to say.
It hard to get
it's
used to
funny for me to remind you guys that he's president-elect, because you guys seem to think that the elections are not over and the left organization are so bitter. But he was elected by the people, and he's doing what he's promised and to the people. And you know what? I think that the more he continues on that way, the more he will not just influence America, he will influence the world to see that if you will stand by your truth, you will succeed.
Look, first of all, I definitely know that he was elected. You know, I'm very much finding it hard to get used to the idea. But yeah, he's definitely elected, and it's very much felt. What you're talking about, and I think both you and with you, it's okay that you don't understand democracy so well. But for the president, for the president of the United States not to understand what's the role of the judiciary branch of government is terrifying. That, first of all, to issue
democracy
an order.
Not to do what the people have chosen him to do. That's why I don't understand
democracy. Election is not
always.
the end of democracy. It's the election. In an election, you choose the executive branch and the legislative branch. You don't. Democracy is also about protection of minorities, and it's also about checks and balances. And when the Supreme Court of the United States, I don't know what the decision is going to be once we're going to be broadcasted, it's going to be already known, but it's definitely the President of the United States cannot, neither there nor here in Israel, cannot say that a judge is a so-called judge and to try
he is
to
a so-called
imitate
judge because he pretends
and
to,
try to imitate.
perform a justice about something that he doesn't have the right to. So when you're saying that
He's definitely has
no,
the look.
because it's the same as what's going on in Israel. When you're saying that President Trump and me, for instance, don't know what democracy is, I think it's the other way around. Because what is democracy? Democracy is to do what the people want you to do.
Not only mine. No, I'm sorry.
You can't be a dictatorship and decide what you want by your opinion.
It's not about only what the majority wants. By the way, with President Trump, it's not even the majority. It's only the way the Electoral College works. But regardless, hold on. But it's about the checks and balances between the powers. And when the court, each court, finds a political order or an order of the executive branch to be illegal, and the court has the monopoly on
exactly, the monopoly.
But that's how the democracy works. That's how the U.S. Constitution is written and implemented. That's also the Israeli law. And it's not only about who's the president and who's the prime minister. And to ban 7 countries from entry.
Illegal.
Hold on, Mike. To ban.
It's only illegal when it contradicts the left decision.
No,
when it's a right wing, then all of a sudden it's undemocratic.
It's not true.
It is true
it's
because that's.
So we have tonight with us Hagit Ofran from Peace Now Settlement Watch project to debate or discuss, it's up to May, the settlement regulation law that was passed this week in the Israeli Knesset. Hi Hagit.
Good evening.
Hi Uri, hi May.
So Hagit, before we get into the inside parts of the discussion, please give us some highlights of this law that was passed this
According
week.
to you, of course.
According to
According to what I understand from this law,
yes.
From now on, in cases where settlers took private Palestinian land and built homes on them with some consent of a governmental body, although it was illegal, from now, the land would be taken from the Palestinian owners and given to the settlers who took the land illegally.
Hagit, I have to ask you something. I have to ask you something. I'm hearing what you're saying. Obviously, I don't agree with you. But I have to ask you something. You say that Jewish people in the Israeli country, when they sit on their own land, it's illegal? You mean that Jews aren't allowed to sit in their country? Because if it's true, then we should evacuate also Jaffa and Tel Aviv, University of Tel Aviv, that sits on Sheikh Munis, according to the Palestinians. Where does it end? This Amona? Does it end in Amona or Gush Katif that we evacuated?
First of all, the issue here is very simple. Of course, we have no right to take private property that does not belong to us. We have a right to be here as a nation. The Jewish people has a right, in my view, to a country in the land of Israel. And
not according to them, though. But you know that our partner over there thinks that we don't have the right to exist. 1 second.
The leadership of the Palestinians since 1988 declared that they are ready for 2 states, although there are many Palestinians who would not want to see us here. But that's the situation. We are 2 people that feel that belongs to this land. And this land belongs to both of us, and we need to share it. And the question is it moral for us to take all the land and to occupy and not allow the Palestinian civil rights? Or should we compromise and have 2 states? And I think that's what's moral and what's also good for Israel, for our future.
But Hagit, I'm not even sure that this should be a left-right issue. We heard Benny Begin, the son of Menachem Begin, one of the best-known leaders of the Israeli right, calling this legislation the law of theft. Why do you think he says that? I mean, it's not about a Palestinian state right now. It's about something completely different.
Because this law says that if you took something, if you took private property from Palestinians, the government will allow it, will make it legal for you. This is theft. That's very clear.
But Hagit, Uri is talking about Benny Begin, who's a minority in his own party with his opinion. He's a minority.
He's the son of the founder of this
party. It doesn't matter who's his father. He's a minority with his opinion. And
he's the champion of the greater Israel.
I don't think his father would have agreed.
Of course he would.
He wouldn't have agreed on what he
His
said.
father was a true Democrat.
Okay, Uri. But that's a different topic. But I have to ask you. You talking about a two-state solution. Do you really, really believe that we have a partner? We have a leader there that doesn't exist, doesn't even acknowledge the Holocaust. He doesn't exist the Jewish nation a right to exist. He believes all of us should go back to our places in Europe. How can you say we can coexist with them?
Of course, first of all, we have to coexist with them because they're here.
But they don't want us here.
I really, really believe that we do have a partner. I'm not saying that they love us, that they all Zionist and want to see us here flourish forever. But they face the fact that we are here. And we need to face the fact that we are here.
But they don't face the fact. So we just had a terror attack yesterday in Petah Tikva. You see, they don't face the fact they are trying in all their power to kill us, to murder us, to make
generalizing all
attacks.
The Palestinians
no, I'm not.
would not do any help.
This is their opinion. They don't want us here, and they're doing everything in their power to show that they don't want us here.
I think you're making your life a little easy when you're saying,
I wish.
Because they won't agree, I don't need to do anything. You know what? If you're right and they don't agree, I would tell you we need to evict the West Bank because it's immoral to control them. If you want to control the West Bank, give them full civil rights. If you don't want to give them full civil rights, you have to withdraw. I believe that we can do it in an agreement and get a peace deal that will not be perfect, but will be much more sustainable.
When we went out of Gush Katif, it was a good decision from you, right? You agree with me?
I'm sure. Yeah.
But what did it brought to us? It brought to us more terror. It brought to us more attacks. It brought the terror closer to us.
We're running out of time, so let's Hagit, maybe a finishing sentence.
Yeah, just an answer to what I asked.
You don't know what would have happened if we did not go out of the Gush Katif. And by the way, the number of casualties in Israel in the 10 years before Gaza and after Gaza was more. More people died from Gaza terrorism before the disengagement than after. So I wouldn't say that it's a total failure.
Hagit, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I really need to hold my smile back when I watch these videos. It's like almost hilarious to me. You know, our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, you could say a lot of things about him. But, you know, to take something that is so stupid and so small, like, you know, him getting a cigar or his wife drinking a bottle of champagne. No, that's the best you got. Come on.
First of all, it's you. It's the Israeli law enforcement. Second, it's not about him smoking cigars or about Sarah drinking pink champagne. It's about him receiving...
Which, by the way, I want to drink one time.
Next show, we're going to have it here. But it's about him receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars worth cigars, champagne, jewelry from people who have interests in Israel. That's criminal. It's not about him being liking cigars or champagne. It's about receiving those gifts from people who have interests in Israel.
At this point, I almost feel sorry for the lefties. You know why? Because you guys are clenching on straws that are so pathetic.
It's not me. It's the Israeli.
Really? You think you're going to impeach the most popular prime minister for the last 10 years for cigars and champagne?
I'm not going to impeach anyone. It's his former...
You know what?
It's his former cabinet secretary who's now the advocate general who's investigating this. This is not someone from the left. This is someone who's an ally of Netanyahu, and even he saw a criminal or a criminal possibility, and he's investigating. Trust me, this guy would not investigate otherwise.
In the end of the day, you know, you guys can say it all you want. Let's go out to the street. Let's talk to the people. The people love him. Wait, let me finish. The people want him. The people don't care about that. You know what it's going to do? This so-called criminal case that it's going to end with nothing like the last things you guys
Perhaps.
did. It's going
to
make them hate you more.
Am I the advocate general?
Oh, it's going to make them think that the media is fake. This is fake news.
It's not fake news.
You know what?
There is an investigation by the police going on with the judge, advocate general, holding it together. It's not us. It's not about us. And besides, when Olmert, our prime minister, was now in jail.
No comparison whatsoever.
The left
is a corrupted prime minister, a corrupted person that took bribery, that stole, that lied,
he's sitting in
that
jail.
should have sat in jail much longer
for
than
$20,000.
Much different than that. You compare the corrupted Olmert to a prime minister
Netanyahu is much more corrupted.
24/7 and enjoy the cigar once in a while.
It's not a cigar every once in a while. Again,
it's
that's fake news, because it's not about the cigars itself. It's about how much they're worth, how long were they being given by Milchin and others, and how much this is a possibility of a bribe. That's what we're talking about. And it's not me, it's not the media, it's the Israeli law enforcement. And leading this law enforcement is Netanyahu's own former cabinet secretary, a person that he himself promoted to this position. Before we run out of time,
I have to tell you something. You know, I'm looking at your efforts to change, you know, not even lefty people, but even there are some center people that want to change Benjamin Netanyahu. They think he's been there for too long.
That's political.
This is not the way. This is
undemocratic. That's Israeli police.
This is populism. It's a demagogic way to change a prime minister. Change him through the elections, not through made-up stories about champagne and cigars.
The chief of the police was nominated.
It's not going to be criminal, and you know it.
The chief of the police was nominated by Netanyahu. The advocate general was nominated by Netanyahu. Okay, if it won't be criminal, then fine. I'm not the one prosecuting Netanyahu. Yeah. It's the Israeli law enforcement.
But come on, you know what? Let's be objective for 1 second. We both know our opinions. I want an objective moment for 1 second. Let's open the news. Channel 10, Channel 2, Channel 1 even. We open the news, and no matter what is happening in Israel, this is the opening news. What happened with this cigar? 1 second, let me finish.
The Prime Minister is being investigated for corruption. That's top news.
This is not for corruption. Not for
corruption. That's the allegations against him.
We're talking about a prime minister that had a life before he was a prime minister.
It's during his term in office.
He had
you don't know the facts.
Who gave him presents for his birthday. Come on.
It's not for his birthday. Okay. It's every month. Packs of Cuban cigars, boxes of pink champagne, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth.
How did it affect him running the company? Answer that question. Did it affect in any way?
Hold on, I don't know. I'm not conducting an investigation.
Because there's nothing to know, Uli. There's nothing to know.
What are you talking about? So, May, since Donald Trump was elected, we hear more and more anti-Semitic incidents in the United States, and we hear of anti-Semitic groups such as the American neo-Nazis and getting vaguer, getting stronger, getting more pride. And we hear of many Jews in the United States concerned about what's going on. Don't you see that it has to do with the Trump election?
Of course it does. I didn't think otherwise. You guys are pinning Trump with things that has nothing to do with Trump, but let's pin it on him because that's a way to try and make him look more aggressive, more racist. Listen, Uri, the anti-Semitism in the United States has always been very hard and vulgar.
True.
Well, I know it from a lot of friends that lived in the States.
I lived there for 4 years.
And are telling me, and I want to tell you that in the Obama regime, those 8
administration, not regime.
Sorry.
I know you think it's a regime, but it was an administration.
For me, it's a regime. And you want me to say my real opinion, the Obama 8 years of frightening and terror. Mr. Obama has spoke so much against the Israeli country and has led such an anti-Israel way when he was talking to the world.
Obama is a great friend of Israel, and that's the way he spoke to.
The anti-Semitism and the radical Islam has rose his ugly head so far high in the United States, and now
but it's not Islamic. It's old style anti-Semitism.
Yeah, but
I want to ask you a question though.
Okay.
How come the Trump administration, for the International Day of Shoah of Holocaust, did not mention the Jewish Holocaust?
Seriously?
Why did they take it out? And when they when they
because
were
there was
pointed out
another
that
Holocaust for another human nation. Come on, of course he was talking
they
about the Jews.
insisted it's
That's
not
what
unique to
you
the Jews. They insisted. It's not me.
It's completely untrue. You guys twist everything that Donald Trump is saying to make him look bad. He was talking about the Holocaust because it's stupid to think that he's not referring to the Jewish nation.
But when he was
Is there
asked,
any other nation that has suffered a Holocaust? Really?
When they were asked, first of all, there were other victims of the Nazis.
Not a Holocaust.
Other
not
victims
a Holocaust
of
as the Jews.
So why didn't he say that?
It's
he did not say that. He said many people have suffered.
What are you
that was their reaction. It's
what
not mine.
What are you trying to say
it's the
about
Trump
it? That
administration.
Donald Trump is a racist towards Jews? Because I don't think that there has
think that
ever
elements
been.
in his administration
I have to say to
I
you
think
that.
Bannon has
Bannon.
a very I think he
Bannon,
has
the guy that loves Israel. Bannon is anti-Semitic.
I don't think he loves Israel.
Okay.
I think he has at
Bannon
least
that wants to
many
move
questions
the
to
embassy
be
to
answered
Jerusalem.
about his anti-Semitism. I don't think the embassy's location is about liking or disliking Jews, but I think some elements in the far right in the United States are anti-Semitic, and I think some of them are part of the administration right now.
Okay, listen. In the end of the day, there has not been a president that is more pro-Israel than Donald Trump. There has not been a president that came in and said the relationship between Israel and the United States that were ugly and bad in the Obama administration time are now fixed in a moment. He picked up the phone. 1 second.
It's not all about Israel.
1 second.
There are Jews in the United States too.
Lefty
and
Jews.
it's not all about
that
how
are wearing these
so lefty Jews, it's okay to
goggles.
hate lefty Jews?
Listen.
And what you just
listen.
said is, I'm sorry, you're
very anti-Semitic. I'm an anti-Semitic. Okay,
perhaps it's a new distortion
I'm anti-Semitic maybe towards people who are against this nation and her existence, because the Jews, the Democrat Jews in America, are wearing those pink stoned glasses, thinking they know what's going on here, when actually they're feeding your organization's lies, when the left organization lies, thinking that
I'm not talking about Israel at all.
and
I'm
treat Palestinians bad.
About connecting between Jews and money, like the Trump campaign.
So it's a very dividing subject for me. You know, I have a part of me that believes that those people are allowed to learn Torah, they're allowed to practice their faith. And there's a different part of me that believes all citizens of Israel should serve in the army. And I'm really divided because I want to give them what they want, and I want to be able to protect the law. So I'm kind of, you know,
torn.
I'm torn. I'm struggling with myself, you know, in this
I'm
topic.
not used
and I
to
have
you
be
being
honest.
torn on any subject,
on anything,
but
right.
it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Look, for me, first of all, I think that regardless of their standpoint, they cannot block roads and do all that in such violence, and especially not calling the police Nazis. That's not something that a Jew should be doing.
You guys heard that? We agreed on something.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Yeah.
I'll give you my point of view on that specific issue. I think that the service in the Israeli military is compulsory, and therefore, out of the principle of everybody is equal, they should serve too. but I don't see them serving anytime soon. They haven't been serving ever. What we should do is that just to exempt totally all Haredi men, like we do with women, but also disconnect this idea that if they don't serve, they can't work either, because that brings poverty to the Haredi communities, and that's something Israel has to deal with by dislinking this. If you don't serve, you can't work either, and you have to study.
Yeah, but
some can study, some can work.
I just want to take this discussion to a different point, because we're very practical about it, and I want to talk about the emotion-wise, because not only did they believe that they're protecting the country by learning Torah, I also believe that when they're learning Torah all day, that they are protecting this country as well. And of course, I love our army, and I know that they're protecting us as well. But I think that it's on some level, our country, our Jewish country, need to acknowledge the fact that this is a Jewish state that's built on a Torah.
It's fine, it's a Jewish state, but they should also work. And we should stop
work has nothing
making
to do
them
with it.
Going to the service.
But
they will never serve.
They are protecting their country in their own way.
Fine, I'm not. So last week we had tens of thousands of Israelis gathered in Tel Aviv with a joint call to make cannabis legal in Israel. This comes on the background that the previous week our Minister of Internal Affairs, of Internal Security said...
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security, if you wish, said that he's going to make smoking cannabis not a criminal offense, but rather an administrative fine or something like that, and basically decriminalize cannabis. Yeah. I think it's a welcome step. I do think that legalization is the path we need to take.
Well, look, I'm all for progression, and I know that we've reached a point in our world, not just in Israel, where cannabis is also helping people with medical problems. And, you know, it's out there. You can't ignore it. You know, every second person in a coffee shop in Tel Aviv lights it up. But, and it's very important. I have to make you guys stop and listen to the Homeland Security, Gilad Erdan. What is he talking about? He
decriminalized it last week.
Yeah, he decriminalized it, but he said something very important together with it. He said that he doesn't want drugs to be free on the streets. And the reason he's not making it completely legal is because it's very important to remember that once you make legalization of drugs, any kind of drugs, and doesn't have some sort of supervision about it, it's a dangerous zone. So I think with all the happiness and the progression, we have to remember that we have young kids here that don't look at it and don't think about it.
But that's how you supervise. If it's all legal and you say you can't smoke under 18, look what's going on in Colorado in the United States.
Yeah, but what did I see in this rally?
Crime went down. Youth usage went down because it's totally illegal.
But I'm afraid
why Israel is different.
I tell you why. I'm scared that Israel will be the same, because I watched the rally with the people that you were talking about, and I saw some teenagers just light a joint in front of the police. I saw that.
How do you know their age?
But whatever, not teenagers. You know, young people just turning out a joint.
Yeah, okay.
I know, no, because it's very,
Why is it different than alcohol?
It's an insightful thing, because it is different.
No, it's not.
You know, an 18-year-old kid or even a 20-year-old kid, which I still consider as a kid, doesn't always know how to handle
alcohol.
Weed.
is more of a dangerous drug.
Yeah.
It's more violent.
Okay.
While
and we have
cannabis,
laws about alcohol as well. But
right.
you know,
and we should have the same laws with regard to cannabis. Cannabis is no different than alcohol. In fact, it's better. It's not as harmful to your health
I know you
or
like
to
to
your
think of
behavior.
Israel. I know people like to think of Israel as a part of you know, a very similar country to the rest of the world, but it's not true. We're different.
How come we're different?
I'll tell you why. I know it sounds weird, but we have a different society, a much smaller community. You know, kids that live under pressure of terrorism, of stress from what's going on.
That's not
we have a daily
Israel.
conflict, and people are stressed, and I'm scared that people are
So
going to
let
turn
them,
to it.
have a bit of fun.
No, I'm sorry.
And relax.
It doesn't work like
Why
that.
do you have to be stressed all the time?
So, Uri, we had a very busy week this week. We talked about a lot of topics, and maybe a little bit of agreement, or
yeah, I
think so, which is an achievement for us, right?
Oh yeah, it's a good start for a second show, and I think the coming week is going to be not less busy. We're going to have Netanyahu visiting Trump, one of our favorite two issues.
I think one of the best meetings that is going to be between the President of America and the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Whole hell is going to break loose.
God forbid. No, don't believe him. But we're going to debate that next week. So tune in, Israeli Frenemies.